Hi, my name is Amy Mazzi and I'm with Centurion Boats, and today I'm going to talk to you about a boat that is literally the best of both worlds. This is the 2023 Ri230, and this boat tows two world championships that do two very different things. One, the Wake Surf World Championship, and another, the IWWF Wakeboard World Championship. One 23-foot Centurion, two world championships. Let's check it out. From the front of the Ri230, it looks like any of the other boats in this series from Centurion. It's got those same two high-powered docking lights, 4,800 lumens a side. It's got that same signature Centurion backlit logo right at the point of the bow, and it's got that great high bow that allows the water to dissipate even when you're going over big rollers, so it's not going to come into the bow with you. The biggest difference is there's just a little bit less length in this 23-foot Ri. The Ri230 may be lacking a little bit of length compared to the other Ris in this Centurion series, but is not lacking any of the style or customization. As you can see behind me, it's got these same two-tone PTM vents, it's got the backlit ram fill, backlit Centurion, and it's available with 37 different gel coat colors. And that's not just 37 different colors on the entire boat, that's 37 different colors here, 37 different colors here, 37 different colors here. Yes, you can make this boat look like whatever you want, and it looks beautiful. So the other thing you'll notice on the side of the Ri230 is this large vent. What this is the ram fill vent. It allows air to come into the ram fill tanks that are subfloor beneath the lounge. They go from roughly the driver's seat all the way back to the transom of the boat, but beneath the floor, so they don't take up any of your storage area. They hold about 2,500 pounds, and that 2,500 pounds of water fills in 90 seconds. What that gives you is a couple things. A lot of displacement to get that hull down into the water, making that water out the back great for a big wave, but also it gives you the ability to evenly weight the boat. So one of the things about a Centurion and the Ri230 specifically is where the ballast is placed. It's placed very evenly throughout the boat. The ram fill tanks are a great example of that. So it weights the boat evenly. You don't have to worry about the boat being bow high because all the weight is the back half of the boat. This boat is weighted evenly, which means it displaces the entire running surface and it makes your wave longer. Yes, it's true, and ram fill has a lot to do with that. So we talked about the ballast placement, specifically the ram fill, and how it's evenly distributed and it allows the boat to ride very level in the water front to back. Well, another thing that helps this boat ride level is the shape of the hull on the bottom, and specifically at these back corners. They have triangles that are flat on either corner. What this does is gives the boat lift and allows it to ride level in the water. Why is riding level important? Well, it does definitely give you a longer wave when you displace that whole hull in the water. However, riding level also provides less resistance, which means the motor is stressing less, which means you're not creating as much drag on the bottom of the boat, which means you're not using as much fuel. Hence, the fuel fill. The fuel fill is on this side. We got another one on the other side. Why do we do that? It's because you're not going to the gas station very much, and we're afraid you might forget which side the fuel fill's on. But this 81-gallon tank in the Ri230, you fill it up and you're riding for days without having to go back to the gas station. As you move around to the back of the Ri230, you're almost blinded by all this bling that's underneath the swim step. And it looks good, absolutely. Polished stainless steel normally does, but this also has a lot of function to it. So if we start with the Quick Surf Pro tabs on either corner of the back of the boat, what these tabs do is essentially move the wave behind the Ri230 from side to side. We talked about the ballast displacing the hull. It means it sinks that hull down deeper into the water, displaces water behind the back of the boat, and then these tabs allow a wave to form on either side. The way they work is the tab goes down opposite the surf side, it displaces the surf side corner and basically digs it deeper into the water and makes a wave or a curl on that side. So if I'm surfing regular, which would mean I'm surfing off of the port side, I would put this tab down. So this is creating lift, It's digging the port side corner, and I'm surfing on that wave. Now, if I want to transfer, a transfer can happen in about 2 seconds behind this Ri230, and then I can be surfing goofy. And then the opposite surf tab would be down, creating lift on the opposite side. It's really that simple, that fast, and that fun. So there are a few other shining examples of great function from Centurion behind this boat, namely this tab in the center, which we call the Stinger wake plate, but this is a silent Stinger wake plate. Now, a wake plate typically is something that is going to change the running attitude of the boat. Some people call it a trim tab. This has a lot more functionality and utility built into it. In fact, Centurion has a utility patent on it as well as a design patent. What it does is it makes the boat quieter. It takes the exhaust from the engine and tumbles it through a series of baffles with some water that's forced into the bottom of the plate, and it dampens the noise of the engine, so much so that the decibel level at the passenger is about 74 decibels in this boat, which is quieter than a kitchen dishwasher. So what that means is I can have a normal, everyday conversation with the driver or even somebody sitting in the lounge of the boat. You're not yelling or constantly going, "What'd you say?" all day out on the water. It makes it comfortable, and honestly, that silence denotes precision, not just the precision of the plate itself, but of the engine. Because that engine is so quiet, and it is also very efficient, it's not burning fuel, it's really good all the way around. Once you're on the swim step of the Ri230, you start to understand how nice and functional even the smallest thing is on this boat. The swim step, for instance, it's tooled in such a way that it falls off towards the trailing edge and it allows you to get up on it more easily. I need that help. It also has some handles built into it, so you have somewhere to grab on and pull yourself up. If the boat is not weighted, it can be a little high out of the water in the back, but this allows you to utilize that swim step to get up on the boat. On my way into the boat, I got to put my shoes away. Typically, they would be flip-flops, but you know, since we're in the studio, you've got this trunk in the back that can house an optional ballast bag, but also it's a great place for storage, especially for shoes, so they never make it onto the interior of the boat, which is a pet peeve of mine. But that's not the only thing going on the back of the Ri230. I also have cup holders back here. I can sit on top of the trunk, which is a great place to put your board on or to just recover after that epic session that I just had. I can also hang out back here. So if the kids are swimming, we've stopped the boat, I can find a nice place to sit. Real easy. Oh yeah, somebody can bring me a drink and we can just hang out. So as I make my way into the Ri230, I have a very specific path I can follow because there's a walk over here, so I can walk over the sun pad, and when I step down onto the interior, there's a fiberglass tooled piece with a piece of gator step on it, so I'm not stepping down onto my upholstery, which I know for some of us is very aggravating, especially when you have somebody in the boat that may not be familiar with the boat. They have a specific place to put their feet, and it's not all over your upholstery. This upholstery can take it though. This upholstery is made by Spradling. It's got a 17 mil top coat and it's stitched together with Gore-Tenara thread. Why does that sound familiar? It's made by Gore-Tex, so it's extremely strong and resilient. So you can step on it, but thanks to this nice design, you don't have to. So this is a 23-foot boat, but it feels so much bigger when you're on the inside. It's rated for 14 people, and it really feels like it once you sit down in this lounge. It's also got enough storage for 14 people's stuff. There's storage underneath every one of these seats. You've also got some really versatile seating that's available. I have flip-up lean backs on both sides of the lounge. What that gives me is a rear-facing seat on either side. And then I've got this slide seat that has 3 different positions, so I can have the seat here all the way back. I can have it in the middle, especially if I wanted to change the weight displacement in the boat and put a couple passengers right here in the center. I can do that. Or I can shove it all the way forward and sit next to the driver and the observer and kind of be huddled together around the helm. It's got a lot of versatility, a lot of accommodation, and let's face it, it's huge for a 23-foot boat. So one of the other great customizable features in an Ri230 is the floor, specifically the Gator Step non-skid that's on the floor. In this particular boat, you can have 6 different schemes or configurations for the floor. This boat has the Salute to Service scheme in it, which is a 3-layer scheme. What I have the ability to do is customize the color on each of the 3 layers. There's 15 different choices for each layer. This one has what they call Atlantis on the top, but it really matches our spearmint color really well. And then this has shark fin on the middle layer and shark fin on the bottom layer. This is a great look. I really like the way this floor turned out, but you can customize it to anything you want, any of those colors in any of those spots. It gives you a lot of different possibilities. So there's not a detail missed in the Ri230, whether it's nice to look at or very functional, comfortable, and the side panel is a great example of this. So not only do we have this very comfortable seating that's covered in that spraddling vinyl, this happens to be the hex texture, and it's an all hex scheme, so this vinyl stays very cool even on the darker colors. Looks nice, but you've also got access to cup holders here. I've got my Roswell speakers that are spilling sound onto the interior right here. I've got great grab handles in case the driver's getting kind of crazy behind the wheel. I can hold on. Also, that Centurion backlit logo and that PTM billet emblem, it's beautiful and functional at the same time. It's another one of my favorite places in the boat, the lounge. So the standard tower on an Ri230 is the Drop Zone Auto Tower by Roswell. So this tower is extremely strong and in a lot of different ways. So the way that it's constructed of this water drop extrusion, it's not just a typical round tube that's used to build this tower. It has a spline down the back of it. What that adds is strength. You couple that with the fact that it has an overlock or a cam latch design, which pulls the tower down onto the base, and it makes it very, very secure. So there's no rattle, there's no vibration, whether it's going down the road on a trailer or going down the lake on a really rough day. You've also got linear actuators that make it go up and down. What does that mean? Well, I push a button and it goes down in about 14 seconds, up in about 17, but there's no vibration or shaking to the boat when it's going up and down. It's a really smooth, fast motion. Again, very strong. But other than the strength, it's also beautiful, and you have the ability to customize it. So I can get this tower in black or white, and then I can custom color the tower shields, and I can color them in any one of our 37 colors, and I can even add a second accent to the exterior of the shield if I want. So I can match it exactly to the exterior of the boat and make it exactly how I want it to look. So the Drop Zone Auto Tower has a ton of standard features. It's got hangers, it's got all kinds of grab handles, it's got tow points on the outside. But optional features, one of my favorites is gotta be the Bombshell 2.0 rack. Now, this rack hasn't changed much for 2023, except if you count the fact that now you can get it in colors, different colors. We've got about 8 different choices to be exact. You've got a brushed aluminum looking rack, then you've got this white, you've got black, we've got a lot of colors to choose from. You can even get it in blue and red, but it adds another customizable element to the boat. I mean, the rack itself is awesome the way that it functions. It handles a really wide surfboard and a thick surfboard. It keeps it nice and cozy without denting it in any way. It's always secure. It swivels in. It has its own hangers built into it, as well as flag pole holders, because everybody wants to fly their flag on the lake. But this rack, adding color choice to it, just took it over the top. Bombshell 2.0 racks from Roswell, they are literally the bomb for 2023. Another great option that's very, very visible and functional on the Drop Zone Auto Tower is Coverfire 2.0 by Roswell. This is a surround sound system. Say that 3 times fast. But this sound system really does surround the boat in sound. And it does that with different angles that the speakers themselves are mounted at. Either on the interior of the boat, which this has 8 8-inch speakers on the interior of the boat or on the tower. You can see I've got 2 rear firing speakers. They fire back to the rider, and I can control the volume of those speakers independent of the rest of the sound system. I also have speakers that are tilted down towards the lounge, but also still firing back. I have 2 6.5-inch speakers that fire towards the bow, and then I've got a subwoofer at the driver as well. So there is sound covering every piece of this boat, hence why we call it Cover Fire 2.0. Boom. Another great drop zone tower accessory or option has to be the Bimini. And in this case, we've got the So Long Bimini up on this Ri230. So it really is so long. I keep telling you that, but it covers the whole lounge in a 23-foot boat. Literally, I'm gonna have to be on the back of the boat, on the sun pad, on the swim step to get some sun, but it's amazing the coverage this Bimini has. The other thing I really like about it is how easy it is to put up. It folds in half, so really all I have to do is unfold the Bimini and lock it into place and it's up. Stowing is just as easy, so when you're ready to put this boat on a trailer, it doesn't take me 30 minutes to put the Bimini away. It takes me literally about 30 seconds. It's that fast, it's that functional, and it looks pretty good too. So in this large lounge of the Ri230, this 23-foot boat allows for as many as 14 people to be in it. So sometimes, even in the driver's seat, I want to swivel around and talk with the rest of the crowd. And I can with this driver's seat. I can swivel all the way around, I can hang out, I can talk to my observer over here who's also got a big, nice, comfortable seat, or I can talk to somebody in the back of the boat. And remember, I talked about how quiet this boat is on the inside. Even when it's running, I can have a normal conversation. I'm not shouting over the noise of the engine thanks to that silent stinger. And it's a very communal lounge. I like it. But when I'm ready to turn my back on you, I sure as heck am going to. So it stands to reason that the driver has the most control in the Ri230. I mean, I've got physical control with this great new Goosey Italia steering wheel. I've got great control with these sport shifters, which allow me to control the set speed of my cruise control, my zero-off cruise control, and my stinger plate position. And I don't have to take my eyes off the water to have any of that control. I also have access to the throttle and a nice little spot to put my arm while I'm speeding up or slowing down. So not only do I have a lot of control, I have a lot of visibility with the Ri230 dash. It gives me ability to have visibility of the water. The brow of this dash is very low, yet I have 2 huge screens. The Rove screens are 12 inches each. They're big, they're touch screens. I can control a lot of the systems from the screens, but what I like best about them is I can glance at them and I can see all of the data I need to. I don't have to search for things because they're so large and so bright. I can also customize the backlit colors on the screen. So whatever type of light I'm in, I can customize the colors and the brightness to be what I need it to be when I need it to be that way. The other thing I've got on this particular dash is the option of the Rove Screen. The range of view system is really cool. It's got 2 cameras, a bow camera and a transom camera. So I can see what's in front of me. I can also see a rider in tow, or if I'm backing up, I can see what's behind me before I do that. The other information I have here is my trip data, my fuel usage. I can see very easily how much time it took me to get to a location, how much fuel I used on the way, and then I can gauge how much fuel it's going to take me to get back to where I need to go. Or I can find out how much fuel I used during a surf session by understanding my gallons per hour. And this particular boat typically runs anywhere from 2,500 to 2,800 RPM when you're surfing, even fully loaded with ballast. And this will use about 6.7 gallons per hour of fuel. And it's got, I think I mentioned this earlier, it's got about a 74 decibel noise level while you're surfing, which is unheard of. It's like what a kitchen dishwasher sounds like, even quieter than that. So you've got a lot of efficiencies built into this boat that I can monitor from that Rove screen. The other thing I really like is this great spot for my phone. So I have a phone holder here that's a clamping, charging phone holder, wireless. It allows me to always have visibility of my phone and understand what's going on there without having to take my hands off the wheel or my eyes off the water for very long. This dash gives you all kinds of control and all kinds of visibility. So you have all this control, you have all this visibility, but how difficult is it to make this boat do what you want it to do? Not difficult at all. So when I want to fill up my ballast, I simply hit the little menu button that looks like water filling up a box, and that is my ballast button. And it shows me where my ballast locations are and how full they are. I can look at it in this simple view, or I can go to a much more exploded view that allows me to fill and drain each ballast area independent of one another. Or I can fill all the ballast or drain all the ballast. It's that easy. We talked about earlier that this boat has 5,400 pounds of available ballast in it, and I can fill it all, drain it all. I can fill one side, leave another side empty if I want to, but I've got that ability with this system, and it's really as simple as the touch of a screen. When I'm ready to surf, all I have to do is hit the little wave icon, and it takes me to the quick surf screen. The quick surf screen shows me what side I'm surfing on, and I can change sides very easily. And I can actuate my quick surf just by hitting the quick surf button at the top, and it shows me right now I'm set up to surf left. Well, let's say I want to surf right. I'm surfing right. It's that easy. And it shows me which way I'm set up to surf, and it shows me the different editable positions of the plates. Each plate has 100 points of adjustment, so I can get as crazy with that customization on my wave shape as I want. You've also got control of your lighting in this particular screen, so I can turn on and off any of my interior lights, my docking lights, my navigation lights. I can turn on and off my heater, and then probably the most important menu item is the stereo. And from here, I can Bluetooth my phone. I can change between whatever Bluetooth music I have playing, or if I want to go to the radio, or say I have Sirius XM installed, I can do any of that right from my stereo screen. I also have access to my mapping, so I can see where I am in the world. Depending on which Navionics chip I have installed, I could be here in the United States or Canada, or I could be in France. It just depends. But all of that is accessible from this small menu that's easy to navigate and super fun to use. In a lot of boats, the ice chest is normally located underneath a seat, so you have to ask somebody to get up in order to get a drink. Not in the Ri230. Right here, I've got the ice chest in the walkthrough, easily accessible. Who wants a drink? I know we've made a long trip around this 23-foot Ri230, but we're almost there. We're almost home. In fact, this is my favorite place. This is my home. This is the bow, and it's a walk-through open bow. So what does that mean? I can walk straight through the bow. And then I can take my seat right here. Now this bow's set up like a playpen, so we've got a filler cushion in the middle here that is removable. It's optional, you don't have to have it, and when it's not here, there's room for legs, so it makes into like a little lounge up here. You can also sit facing forward, you can sit facing back like I am. You've got access to storage up here. I can access the back side of the observer storage or the back side of the dash. I also have nice grab handles, cup holders, my Roswell speakers, and a power point. So I can charge either using a 12-volt power source, or I can use USB charging up front. So really, I don't need to leave the bow. And the ride is so nice up here and so smooth, I never want to. Thanks for walking with me through the all-new 2023 Ri230. While it's the smallest Ri in the Ri series from Centurion, it packs some of the biggest waves and wakes you'll find. But don't take my word for it. Check it out at a Centurion dealer near you.